Your plant is talking to you right now. Every yellow leaf, every brown edge, every weird spot on those leaves is actually a message. And once you learn how to read those messages, everything changes. Most people jump straight to blaming bugs or bad soil or just plain bad luck. But the real problem is almost always something quieter, a deficiency happening right below the surface where you cannot see it. So let us break this down together, nutrient by nutrient, symptom by symptom. Once you understand what your plant is actually telling you, you will never look at a struggling plant the same way again. Let us kick things off with the big three of plant nutrition: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These are your macronutrients, the absolute foundation that every plant needs to survive. Nitrogen is the engine behind all that lush green growth. It is what makes leaves green and keeps them pumping out new foliage. When a plant does not have enough nitrogen, it goes into survival mode. It starts pulling nitrogen from the oldest leaves at the bottom and sends it up to the newer growth at the top. So what you will see is those lower leaves fading to a pale, washed-out yellow, almost lime green, while the top of the plant still looks relatively fine. The plant is basically sacrificing old leaves to keep the new ones alive. This is one of the most common problems out there, and it hits especially hard in sandy soils, or if you have been watering heavily, because nitrogen washes out of the soil fast. Phosphorus is the nutrient that drives root development, flowering, and energy transfer inside the plant. A plant that is low on phosphorus can actually fool you at first because it might still look green, but take a closer look. You will notice the leaves developing a deep, almost purplish green color, particularly on the undersides. What is happening there is that without enough phosphorus in the leaf tissue, pigments called anthocyanins start building up. And here is something worth knowing. Cold soil, anything below about 10 degrees Celsius, can cause the exact same look even when there is plenty of phosphorus in the ground. The roots just stop absorbing it when it is that cold. Potassium is your plant's stress manager. It handles water regulation, disease resistance, and fruit quality. Without enough potassium, a plant is far more vulnerable to temperature swings and disease pressure. When potassium runs low, you will spot it at the leaf edges first. A crispy brown scorch that creeps inward from the margins, almost like the leaf has been lightly singed. It usually starts on the older leaves and works its way up the plant over time. A lot of growers see this and think it is wind damage, or the plant just needs more water, which is exactly why potassium deficiency flies under the radar so often. Now, beyond those big three, there are two secondary macronutrients that cause a ton of confusion: magnesium and calcium. They are needed in smaller quantities than nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but when they run low, the symptoms are dramatic and very easy to misread. Magnesium sits right at the center of every single chlorophyll molecule. So without it, your plant literally cannot make green pigment. When magnesium gets low, the plant pulls it from old leaves and ships it to the younger ones. The telltale sign is something called interveinal chlorosis. The veins of the leaf stay green, but the tissue between them turns yellow, then orange, then brown. It can actually look quite striking at first, almost like stained glass. But make no mistake, that is a plant in real trouble. You'll see this a lot in acidic soils and in container plants where regular watering flushes magnesium right out. Calcium is what builds and strengthens cell walls. It keeps plant tissue firm and sturdy. But here is the tricky part. Once calcium lands in a leaf, it stays put. The plant cannot pull it from old growth and redirect it to new growth. It is completely immobile once deposited. So calcium deficiency always shows up at the growing tips, the youngest, most tender leaves. They curl, the tips go dark, and eventually they die off completely. If you have ever seen blossom end rot on a tomato or tip burn on lettuce, that is calcium deficiency in action. And here is the interesting thing. It is rarely because there is not enough calcium in the soil. Most of the time it is caused by irregular watering. Calcium travels through the plant with water, so if your watering schedule is all over the place, calcium delivery gets disrupted. Consistent, even watering is often the fix, not adding more calcium. Alright, now we are heading into micronutrient territory. These are nutrients the plant needs in very small amounts, but they are just as essential. And honestly, these are the hardest deficiencies to pin down because the symptoms often overlap with each other, and soil pH plays a huge role in all of them. Sulfur is critical for building proteins and running enzymes. At first glance, sulfur deficiency looks a lot like nitrogen deficiency, but here is how you tell them apart. With nitrogen, the older leaves yellow first. With sulfur, it is the youngest leaves that turn pale and yellow because sulfur does not travel easily inside the plant. An interesting bit of background here, sulfur deficiency has actually become more common over the past few decades because cleaner air regulations reduced sulfur dioxide in rainfall, and that rainfall used to act as a natural sulfur supplement for soils. Iron is where things get really tricky. Iron deficiency causes a sharp intervenal chlorosis on the newest leaves, which can look a lot like magnesium deficiency. But the key is which leaves are affected. With iron, it is the new growth that shows symptoms, not the old growth. The veins stay bright green while the rest of the leaf fades to pale yellow or even near white. In severe cases, the entire leaf can go almost paper white while the veins remain green. It is actually quite striking to see. Now here is the catch. Most soils actually have plenty of iron in them. The problem is access. When soil pH climbs above 7, iron gets chemically locked up and roots cannot grab it. So what looks like an iron problem is often a pH problem. Bringing the pH down with sulfur amendments or acidifying fertilizers can fix it without adding any extra iron at all. Boron plays a part in cell division and sugar transport. It is needed in very small amounts, but the gap between too little and too much is incredibly narrow. You have very little room for error with this one. When boron is low, new growth comes in distorted, thickened, or brittle. Growing tips die back, flowers fail to develop properly, and in fruits and vegetables you get some very specific issues. Internal browning in root crops, hollow heart in beets, cracked stems in celery, and internal cork spots in apples. If you are growing any of these crops and seeing those kinds of problems, boron should be on your radar. Zinc is essential for growth hormones and enzyme production. When a plant is short on zinc, the spaces between leaves get shorter, giving the whole plant a bunched up, rosette-like look. The leaves themselves may come in small, misshapen, and mottled. Zinc deficiency shows up a lot in high pH soils and in soil that has been over-limed. And here is something that catches people off guard. Too much phosphorus can actually block zinc uptake, so over-fertilizing with phosphorus sometimes triggers a zinc deficiency you never saw coming. Manganese gets confused with iron deficiency constantly because both of them cause intervenal chlorosis. But the pattern is different if you look closely. Manganese deficiency creates a paler, more washed-out mottling across the whole leaf, often with a greyish or tan tone rather than the vivid yellow you see with iron. The chlorosis with manganese also tends to be more diffuse and less sharply defined between the veins. Just like iron, manganese becomes less available as soil pH rises above 6.5. On the flip side, waterlogged soils can cause manganese toxicity, which is the opposite problem, and it shows up as dark brown spots and leaf scorch. Now here is something every plant grower needs to hear. Not every damaged leaf means there is a nutrient deficiency. There are several environmental stresses that look almost identical to deficiency symptoms, and they fool experienced growers all the time. Overwatering is the #1 killer of houseplants and one of the most misdiagnosed issues in gardening. When roots sit in waterlogged soil, they suffocate. They cannot take in oxygen, and without oxygen, they cannot absorb nutrients either. So the plant ends up looking exactly like it has a deficiency. It yellows, it droops, the edges go brown. And what do most people do? They assume the plant is hungry and reach for the fertilizer. But that will only make things worse because the problem was never a lack of nutrients. An overwatered plant feels heavy when you lift it. The soil stays soggy for days on end. The lower leaves turn yellow and mushy rather than dry and crispy. The answer is always better drainage and less water, never more fertilizer. Let the soil dry out between waterings and make sure your pots have proper drainage holes. Nutrient burn is the opposite problem. You have been too generous with the fertilizer. Salts build up in the soil and start pulling water out of the roots through osmosis, basically dehydrating the plant from the inside. The symptoms hit the leaf tips first, a crispy brown scorch that looks almost exactly like potassium deficiency or drought stress. The giveaway is your fertilizing history. If you have been feeding heavily and brown tips suddenly start spreading across the whole plant, flush the soil with plenty of plain water. Windburn causes leaf edge damage that that can pass for potassium or calcium deficiency. Leaves that face constant strong airflow lose moisture faster than the roots can replace it, creating a mini drought right at the leaf margins. Tips and edges dry out, curl up, and go brown. The difference is that windburn only affects the most exposed leaves, and it stops progressing once you move the plant or give it some shelter. Light burn happens when intense light, usually grow light set too close, hits the leaves too hard. The affected leaves develop bleached, yellowish-white patches that could easily be mistaken for magnesium or iron deficiency, but location is the clue. Light burn always targets the leaves closest to the light source. Outdoors, reflected light bouncing off walls or water surfaces can do the same thing. Moving the light farther away or putting up shade cloth takes care of it. Frostburn is probably the most dramatic looking of all. When a frost event hits, ice crystals form inside the leaf cells and burst them open. The damaged tissue goes pale and translucent, then collapses into a dry, papery mess. Whole leaves can be wiped out overnight. Unlike nutrient deficiencies which develop gradually over days or weeks, frost damage is sudden and hits all exposed leaves at once. The damaged tissue will not recover, but if the roots and crown made it through, the plant can grow back over time. So next time you see a plant that looks rough, resist the urge to grab the fertilizer right away. Take a step back and read the leaves first. Ask yourself a few questions. Are the symptoms on old growth or new growth? Are they between the veins or along the edges? Is the soil waterlogged or bone dry? Has there been a cold snap, a heat wave, or strong wind recently? Did you recently change your watering or feeding routine? These questions will get you to the right answer far more reliably than just throwing fertilizer at the problem. Plants have been communicating through their leaves for hundreds of millions of years. Now you know how to read the message. If this video helped you figure out what is going on with your plants, let us know in the comments. We read every single one.